Hey, welcome back. Wow, Bonnie Raitt, is she hot or what? You're listening to Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour, and we've been talking about all kinds of really great things. The name of the show is How to Be Heard and How to Hear. And they're really approximately the same thing, but one's on one side of the communication, one's on the other side of the communication. Now, we got a couple of quotes that I want you to listen to. Earl Nightingale said, "We tend to live up to our expectations." Ooh. So whatever we expect of ourselves, we will be. Claude Bristol said, "We usually get what we anticipate." Ernest Hemingway says, this is a good one, "When people talk, listen completely. Most people never listen." Franklin D. Roosevelt, "Be sincere, be brief, and be seated." Whoa, way cool. Okay, those are some of the key quotes. Now, you've got an email came in here that you really want to get me to.
Well, this is from Lori.
Yeah.
Doesn't hit home for me at all,
No.
but I'm going to read it anyway.
No.
What do you do when you know someone is saying yes just to get rid of you?
Ooh. So what you do is you can pretty much sense that in body English and eye contact. So if somebody's saying yes just to get rid of you, just say, hey, straight up, hey, look, I don't want you to say yes just to have me go away. If this is bad timing or it's the wrong time or whatever, just say so and I'll go away and we can reschedule. It's perfectly okay. Mm-hmm. Or if you don't want to play or you don't want to do what I want you to do, don't say yes just for me to be complete and walk away. Say no, I can handle it. So it's all about straight talk, okay?
Mm-hmm. Good answer.
All right. Now, we've been talking about how to make sure you're heard. 1, stop and think about who you're being. 2, don't assume anything or anybody ever. 3, stay present to where your feet are. 4, ask those you are communicating with to repeat what you just told them. Just before the break, we went through that. And remember, you don't ever want to embarrass somebody when you ask them to repeat what you said to them. And you always want to speak from first person, so you make sure they understand you're not testing their memory or their intellectual power. You're just making sure that they hear you so they don't make a mistake that you made once. Got it? Now, number 5 is be an effective listener. Don't make assumptions about what others communicate to you. If you don't understand it, ask. Take the time to stop the person when you need clarification or more explanation, all right? Just say, hey, you know what? I didn't hear you. I don't get it. I'm confused, and I want to know. So could you please say it either a different way or say the same thing a second time? Don't wait for someone to ask you what you got from the communication. Before you leave a meeting or hang up the phone, say, before we go, I want to make sure I'm clear about what you need, expect, or what you said. I want to be very clear. And then you say, this is what I got. See, can you hear that? So that last one takes a lot of chutzpah. It takes being even, Steven, on the level of humanity with people. It's not about, I don't care whether you're talking to a boss or a child or whatever. It's not about what rank or rating you are in the world. It's about how you communicate. Key, number 1, there is no good, bad, right, wrong, better than, less than. Communication is all about effective speaking and listening. Communication is the responsibility of the speaker. It is always about being responsible for where you lead people. So in the end, effective communication, or how do you put this? Hearing what is said to you and having what you said or say be actually heard. Boy, that's a good sentence. Effective communication is hearing what is said to you and having what you say actually be heard. And it's all about, 1, being present to where your feet are. 2, being present to who you're communicating with. Are they really listening? What's their body English? Are they looking at the floor? You know, being the title rug inspector, hoping no one's going to ask them, you know, if they are listening. And teaching those around you how to do the same. Teaching effective communication, whole and complete communication. We've all experienced, you know, what's going on in life. We've all experienced a conversation with someone who was, you know, all about themselves, you know, the I, me syndrome. And do you think those people were present to you in the conversation you were having? Do you think they were really listening to who you were, or do you think they were really wanting to give you what they had to say? They were all about listening to how they spoke and how cool they were and that they were in charge. And how did that leave you? Where did it leave you feeling? You know, it's like empty, right? So when we communicate with coworkers, loved ones, or even the grocery store clerk, all right, we need to be present to who those people are, not just physically, but also mentally. You need to be tuned in and present. We have to give up the assumptions and give up knowing in order to communicate effectively and to hear what we are supposed to hear as well as to be heard by others. All right? So are you ready to take on the dance of communication? That's what life is all about, a dance. You either do the dance or you die. That's the way it is. The easiest way to do that dance is to be present to others and to be about their needs. So, what does your family need? What does your team need? What does the person behind you in the grocery store line need? Maybe more Cheerios. You never know, you know. When you're on, when you're on the move, be aware of who you're being around people, and the better you become to relating to, communicating with, and being with other people, the better you'll become at hearing and being heard. So
it takes a lot of practice to really be into who the other person is, so you communicate to them effectively and have them get what you want to say.
Absolutely. So the practice is that the more you're sure that you're being listened to, the more you can be assured that you're being heard. Yeah.
Can I one quick quote from George Bernard Shaw, who is very philosophical about a lot of things. He says, "The problem with communication is the illusion that it has been accomplished."
Yeah, very well put. It's like, that's why I say you need to check in with people and not make them wrong for what they got, but be present to what they got. Mm-hmm. And if they got what you wanted them to get, you're done. If they didn't get, ask permission to give it to them another time in a different way so they do get it. Your job is to make sure, as the speaker, that people hear and understand. Okay?
Yep.
Now, I've got all kinds of things I want to talk to you about, but right now, I want you to go to www.claynelsonlifebalance.com and check out the CD series. It's all about listening in those CD series. All right? And you've been listening to Clay Nelson. I am Clay Nelson. You've been listening to me on Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour on KZSB AM 1290 in Santa Barbara.